X-Men Days of Future Past was an awesome movie, but director Bryan Singer thought that it didn't really reach its full potential. So here we are now with the Rogue Cut. Question is it any good? Hello and welcome to the show with reviews. I'm Auram, and a couple weeks ago, the Rogue Cut of X-Men Days of Future Past kind of snuck under the rug with me. I didn't even know it was a thing, but I recently bought it on Amazon, gave it a watch, and now we're gonna review it. So without further ado, let's get started. First up, I should probably mention that I did really love the X-Men Days of Future Past original cut, which was released like a year or two ago. It was really, really good. I really liked it. The X-Men movies and I kind of have a sketchy history. I didn't really watch them all until actually 2 years ago. The first one I tried watching just didn't hook me right away, and I just got bored. I think it was just like the mindset that I was in when I was trying to watch it, but eventually I went back and I loved them. I still haven't seen X-Men Origins Wolverine, but I kind of want to at some point. I know it's awful, but I just kind of want to see it just to get a feel for how bad it is. But that's not what we're talking about. Today we're talking about the Rogue Cut, or the director's cut, of X-Men Days of Future Past. So right off the bat, pretty much the first hour and a half of the movie is pretty much just the original cut with some extra scenes thrown in there that I assume were just deleted for time, or they just didn't work. Actually, about those deleted scenes, I actually really liked them. I think they worked perfectly and just flowed naturally into the cut of the movie, which I'll get back to later. So I guess we can get into spoilers here. I mean, the movie's been out for a while, and the Rogue Cut really doesn't have too many spoilers in it. But yeah, there will be spoilers if you don't want spoilers for the Days of Future Past movie or the Days of Future Past Rogue Cut movie, so leave now if you don't want those. Or you can click an annotation somewhere to take you to where I start talking about my final thoughts of the movie without spoilers. Alright, so the plotline of the Rogue Cut, really, that's the only different thing, is that Kitty, when she's still sending Wolverine back in time, his consciousness back in time, it's draining her of her power and she's losing a lot of blood, so they're worried that she won't be able to keep it going. So Bobby has the idea, Bobby Drake, Iceman, has the idea to find Rogue, who's been kept away in the, in Xavier's mansion, because that's the only place that Professor X can't get a read on her. So Iceman, Magneto, and Professor X go back to the mansion and find Rogue and rescue her, and then she saps Kitty's powers, and from the rest of the movie, Rogue is just sitting there, doing the thingy thing with Wolverine. Now, if this doesn't seem like a lot or that big of a plot point, it's because it's not. It really just kind of felt shoehorned in. And I know that this was originally supposed to be a part of the movie, and I think my reason for it feeling shoehorned in is because it feels like its own standalone thing, which they actually talk about in the special features. I'm almost certain that if this were the theatrical cut that we were shown a year or two ago, it really wouldn't have mattered. I just think that the only reason I feel that it's shoehorned in is because I know the original cut of it not taking place. In fact, I think they actually did a really good job of not putting that plot hole into the original cut, because if they showed that Kitty was losing that much blood and that she couldn't sustain this power, then obviously they could have went and gotten Rogue wherever she may be. But they didn't actually mention that in the original cut, so it was just swept away under the rug. I did like the inclusion of Rogue, I just felt like it was slightly unnecessary. She didn't even really have all that many lines. I'm pretty sure she just said a couple people's names a few times. Another big change to the Rogue Cut as a whole is that during Bobby, Magneto, and Professor X's mission to go get Rogue, Bobby dies, saving Rogue and Magneto. Now, I don't really care about this change all that much. My only irk with it is that they didn't give Bobby's death enough hold, enough weight to it. When Storm dies later in the film, they do this whole slow motion thing with an epic score going over it. They're falling off, everyone's like, no, it's Storm! But with Bobby, he's just kind of fighting the Sentinels, and then it cuts away and he's dead. I don't know, I just feel like they could have given him more time as a character, and especially as a character of his status dying. Alright, so past the spoilers, I do want to say just as a whole, I really, really liked this cut of the movie. I think it was not exactly better than the original cut, it was just different. To me, personally, it felt more like a comic book movie. If that makes any sense, the original cut felt more like an X-Men movie, and this cut feels more like a comic book movie. That doesn't make any sense linguistically, but it makes sense to me, so maybe it makes sense to you. Oh, and the one other complaint that I had, regardless of the ones that I had from the spoiler section, is that the audio levels were just all over the place. I was watching this on a normal-ass TV, and I kept having to turn the audio up and down because it would just fluctuate. Not even between cuts, like during just dialogue, it would just go ba 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 ba, and it's not even just the score. It was mostly the score, but sometimes even the dialogue would just fluctuate. I don't understand why. But all in all, I really liked this cut of the movie, and I'm glad that Bryan Singer was able to fully realize his original script and storyline for Days of Future Past. And I just wanted to mention that the little Fantastic Four sneak peek that's on the second disc that comes with it, it's awful. It's not even a trailer. It's just like them talking about the movie in very, like, legal terms. They're like, it's a movie. But, yeah, it was good, so thanks for watching. If you've seen the road cut, or just want to talk about Days of Future Past in general, or just the X-Men movies, talk about it in the comments. Next time I become a mutant and my power is to become a door or something.